The Edmonton Oilers continue their 5-game road trip with a stop here in Boston to take on a Bruins squad that is a perfect 5-0 at the TD Garden this season. They get some reinforcement with Nick Foligno looking like he's going to return back into the lineup after sustaining an upper body injury on October 20th against the Philadelphia Flyers. As for the Oilers, they look to get back in the win column after suffering a 4-2 defeat 2 nights ago. As we welcome you to the Oilers TV live pregame show, I'm your host, Tony Barr. Thanks so much for making us a part of your morning. It looks like we're going to talk to both defenseman Darnell Nurse and head coach Dave Tippett in just a few moments. Stay tuned.
Your team's had a pretty good start to the season, but you probably weren't too happy with the starts in the last 2 games. Just a thought on what you're looking for maybe early tonight against a team that's really good at home.
Well, we have to be sound, have to come out, play the right way, right from the drop of the puck. And the 2 games are different. Detroit, I didn't like our first period at all. We were behind the play. The Ranger game was a little more even. They took advantage of some breaks, but the Detroit game, we didn't play near enough in their end in the first period. Didn't come up with enough loose pucks. So we have to be ready to be competitive for the puck right from the drop of the puck tonight.
Mikko Koskinen was in goal by himself yesterday. The other 2 Guardians shared a crease. Is Mikko starting tonight?
Mikko will start tonight, yeah.
Kyle Turris on the third line?
Turi will go up there, and we'll see what we can get there with Cass's day-to-day with lower body injury. And the update on Mike Smith is he left to go back to Edmonton yesterday, had a setback in practice, so he's gone back to get some further evaluation in Edmonton. So it'll be Koskinen and Skinner for the time being.
And you know the numbers on back-to-back starting goalies back-to-back. Skinner give you a little bit of confidence after how he battled in that start?
He was solid in his. I mean, the one puck play mistake is something that, as a young goalie, it's actually, you hate to see it happen, but it's good to see him get it out of the way early. Now he doesn't worry about that first one coming. So he got it was a mistake. He recognized it, but he got back in there and played the puck right after that, and he was solid in that. He was he's come a long way in a couple of years, and no problem putting him back in the game.
Dave, I know the attention is always with your group, but Boston is 5-0 at the TD Garden. How do you feel like your team approaches a challenge like that when they maybe are aware of something like that? And you know how tough this is a building.
We maybe our players are aware of it, but we got to be more aware of how we play. I mean, you understand where you are and who you're playing and what their strengths are, but it's how we play. If we don't play to our capabilities, then it doesn't matter where you play, you're not going to win. So that's our focus today. We got to get back to playing a sound game. There's some things in our game that I'd like to see clean up a little bit, and we've talked about that the last couple of days. So hopefully we can come out and be a better team tonight.
I know we talked yesterday after your availability about the specialty of tonight in Colby Cave being celebrated here. One, can you maybe update us on what the team will be doing for the celebration? Is it just a puck drop? And two, you talked about it getting off to a good start with Bob. Is it a little bit tougher when it's a little bit of emotion behind it?
Well, there's, like we talked about yesterday, Cody's still on. Colby's still always in our minds. He's, his dressing room, or his jersey hangs in our dressing room. Great friend, great teammate. So, it's, I think for Emily coming back to Boston, the two organizations that knew him well, it's right to honor him because of the situation we've been in with the pandemic. It's been far too long. But that being said, you still have them in your thoughts and Emily in your thoughts.
Sorry, Dave, just back here as we were done. I'm just curious, in you getting Kyle Turris up in the lineup, how do you think he can adapt it and play in that third line role when he's been lower down for a lot of the year?
I think he's probably better adapted to be up in the top 9 than he is on the fourth hole, but that's an area we pushed him into that right wing, and on the top 3 he was getting a little bit of secondary time, but that was always our thought. If we had an injury on that in the top 9, he could fill that. That's more to his strength. So we'll see how it goes tonight. He's had a very good camp. He's been solid most of the year, so we'll give him an opportunity and see how it goes tonight.
Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of the times when you're looking for goals, when you put McDavid and Draisaitl together the other night, that's when you split them apart. What kind of went into that decision? What were you looking to see when you made that switch?
Just looking to see our group work harder, be more competitive, more balance.
I'm just wondering about, you mentioned Mike Smith and going back to Edmonton. This seems to be something that's been lingering. Is it now kind of becoming a problem, area that he's been out for this long?
Well, it's a concern for sure, because he looks like he takes some steps ahead and then goes out and works a little bit and then has taken another step back. So I think it's certainly a concern. He went through the last couple of days and near the end of practice kind of tweaked something, so he decided he wanted to go back, and I think they're going to do some more imaging of it today, and we'll get a better read on it at home.
Okay, we'll now take one question from Zoom. Jason Greger, go ahead.
Dave, you mentioned you want your team to work harder. If you look
not just work harder, work smarter too.
Yeah. If you just look at goals against, the Draisaitl, when Nugent, Hopkins, they're together, they haven't given up a whole bunch, and Perlini and Seaver haven't been on the ice. Your first and third lines, what do you need to see better defensively from those two units?
Well, first of all, the third line, if you track all the stuff, there's the third line has been snake bit with some goals that against that I really can't fault them much on. That being said, they're still being scored against. So when you don't have the puck enough in the offensive zone, you spend time in your zone, you're susceptible to goals against. And so that's what we're talking about. There's some things I think we can do better structurally. Our forecheck, find more pucks in the offensive zone. And even though we're one of the top teams in the league of spending time in the offensive zone, there's still a better job to be done there. More pucks to be had there. And, there's some D-zone stuff that last game I thought it was more some D-zone coverage that dealt with our defensemen more than the forwards. But, those are all issues you talk with your whole team, not just the first and third line.
Yeah, and that's fair. And do you feel that, because when you look at your goals against, you've had 6 games where you've barely given up anything 5-on-5. I think 1 goal, 0 goals, and then 1 game with 2. And then you've had 5. Like, it seems kind of like when it rains, it pours. So is it just a little bit of an inconsistency from your group? Because over half your games, you're being quite good defensively 5-on-5.
There was poor thinking yesterday, or the Detroit game. The first goal, we pinched down the wall. For whatever reason, decided to come back with the puck and didn't defend it very well. just some mistakes that I think we have to clean up, especially when you go in on the road. You want to play a sound road game, not give up easy ones. And the other night we gave up some easy ones. So I agree with you. There's been some nights when I think that we think there's a better play available than there really is, and you should make the solid play and live for another day rather than give up a chance.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes.
All right. Thanks.
Obviously, disappointing effort and result a couple days ago. Can you talk about the importance of the start for your club tonight and not having to play from behind?
Yeah, we didn't have the start that we wanted, and yeah, we've had some come from behind wins, but you don't want to make that a habit of having to do that each and every night. So our start here tonight is imperative, and I think that's where our focus needs to be, and kind of play a game from there.
The Boston Bruins are 5-0 at the TD Garden this year. It's always been a hostile environment to play in. As a group, do you guys look forward to a challenge like that?
Yeah, anytime you get to play in a building known for obviously a team that plays well at home and a fan base that's very passionate about their team, it's fun to go in there and play in those kind of environments. So this is definitely one that every year when you come into Boston, you kind of have it circled on your calendar, and they always have a great team. So it's going to be a good challenge for us tonight.
Evan Bouchard has a big upside. He can really transition the puck, but he had a tough night the other night. As a veteran defenseman, can you assist him when maybe pucks aren't bouncing the right way for him, or there's a couple tough plays, or as part of his personality, allow him to be settled? Because not every defenseman in that scenario would be as composed to just continue on, Darnell.
Yeah, I think that's one of the special things about Bush is he doesn't get rattled. I mean, it's easy to be a young defenseman in this league, and sometimes pucks are bouncing or things aren't going your way, and to get rattled and not see the positives in the game. And he's a guy that just stays even keel when his game is going really well. He's not super happy about it, and when things don't go right, he doesn't dwell on it. So, yeah, as his partner, you go out there and playing in this league for 7 years now, you got to go out there and help and support and be in good spots for him and continue to talk. So I think as a pair, we'll be continue to grow as the year goes on, and the start tonight, like we said, is huge, and our pair has that focus in mind too.
Keith and Cece have about 1,750 games of NHL experience. How have they come in and maybe settled things down when they're out there for the defense this year?
Yeah, it's just a calm pair, steady. You know what you're going to get each and every time they go out there. With all that experience, they're one of the most, two maybe the most reliable guys on the ice, just knowing what they bring. So it's been a fun pair to play alongside with, and it's great to see them each and every night just go out there and keep things simple and dialed in.
Darnell, just going back to the previous question about Bouchard and your answer was saying, did you find rather that you were that way in your first couple of years in the league, or did it take a little bit of adjusting to kind of find that part of you?
Oh no, I was more up and down. I probably beat myself up a little bit more. I mean, you never know like what guys are thinking internally, but I probably beat myself up a little more than Bush, because that's just his personality. He knows how great of a player he is and how great of a player he's going to be, and you just you stick with your game and trust your game.
Everyone has their own personality, so like you said, you were a little bit different. But do you ever try to kind of tweak them a little bit, just to kind of push them a little bit more and get them out of his comfort zone a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to draw that out of a guy. I think that's one of the things that makes Bush so special, is that he has the ability to go out there and play and just let the game come to him and make the plays that he sees. And like I said, as his partner, you just want to go out there and I know as a player I want to go out there and have an effect on the game each and every night. So doing that alongside him, it's been fun so far.
Darnell, obviously a special night here in Boston, them celebrating the life of Colby Cave. Can you maybe talk about the impact of Colby Cave on you, yourself personally, and in the dressing room?
Yeah, Caver was one of those people that you meet in hockey that's so special. Nice to every single person that he met. Didn't matter if it was a good day or a bad day for him. You couldn't tell, because he always had a smile on his face. Always came with a positive attitude and loved playing this game and loved the guys in the room. And I think, I was very fortunate to be able to, spend time with Caver at the card table and on the bus and on the road, and play alongside him on the ice. And I think I can speak for everyone that played with him. You wanted to be like Caver, the way he treated people, and he's truly missed by everyone.
Darnell, I asked a couple of the guys yesterday, do you maybe have a story of Colby Cave that really embodies his character and his kindness, as that seems to be a common theme throughout talking to you guys?
Well, yeah, I like remember I think he got in the fight in the AHL, and obviously he got a good punch in, and I was pretty fired up when I saw him, and he was calling him the Night Night Express. Like it was kind of like something funny, and same time like you hear stories of him like texting the guy after the fight and checking in and making sure that he's okay, and like when you hear that about someone, like it's just that as a person, like you want to be more like that, just because like that's the kind of guy he was, and he had that effect on everyone around him. So that's yeah, we like I said, we all miss Gabe.
Thanks for sharing that.
No problem.
If you just have one question from Zoom, which we'll go to now. Jason Gregor, go ahead.
Darnell, good teams find ways not to lose multiple games in a row. In your last 58, you've only lost twice in a row, twice. Dave Tippett said he wasn't happy with really the effort and maybe the smarts of your effort last night. How do you ensure that it's a better performance tonight?
We just go out there and play simple. I mean, you can't overthink it. We know what we're capable of in our room. We know what we're capable of as a team. And start doesn't have to be anything pretty. It's just simple and hard work, and we get back to a hard-working mindset and go from there.
You've had some really good games defending 5-on-5 as a team, and then you've had a few where it kind of gets away with you, away on the group. What do you feel has allowed you to be good in those 6 games when you've only allowed 1 goal, but then in the other 5? What's been the glaring difference you've seen from your 5-on-5 group play defensively?
Yeah, I think in those games where you're only giving up 1 or 2, we're defending fast, winning our battles, and then when we get the puck in the offensive zone, we're able to maintain puck time and possession in the offensive zone, and we're not chasing the game back or getting into a track meet. So those are the kind of things that we have to have our focus on from the start today, and I really believe in this group that we'll be able to do it.
Darnell, Jack Edwards from the New England Sports Network. We haven't seen you in person in about 2 years. Teams talk about the process. What has been the process and the progress? Because this clearly is the team which has opened its Stanley Cup window.
I think the process with our team, obviously over the course of 2 years, we've done a lot of growing up as we have a leadership group that is coming into 7th, 8th. I think Nugent's probably his 10th year in the league, and so we've been through the ups and downs, seeing how this league works, and we're just hungry to have success. We've had some tastes of the postseason that haven't gone the way that we've wanted them to, and that just makes you hungrier to get back out there and earn your way back into those positions again. And that's where our focus is at, to earn ourselves another chance to play in the playoffs. And that starts from game 1, and that's the whole process. It's a long year. It's been a pretty good start, but we have a long way to go, and I think as our team we still see a lot of growth to be done.
Thank you. That concludes the media availability.